What's going on, guys? It's your boy Ant Godmade32 on Instagram, and today we got the breakdown of She-Hulk episode 3 coming to us from the good people over at ScreenCrush. Let's get it. And yeah, guys, episode 3 was another amazing episode of television for me, man. Like, this brought in so many aspects of entertainment and tied them in together so brilliantly. And I didn't know I needed that, but I absolutely needed that. Like, this was definitely a great episode for me, and it had its serious moments. Well, nothing in the show is like really serious, but like it had its serious storyline, and it had its like very comedic storyline, and it had a point in there where like both of these storylines came together and they pointed it out in the show, and that was just hilarious to me because I seen it subconsciously. It made sense to me at the time because both of the storylines was coming together, but when they pointed out, it was just hilarious. I love everything about the show, and I can't wait to get into what these more astute watchers seen and recognize, because I'm not gonna lie to you, a lot of the times I'll be too busy either talking or laughing. But if you like what you see here, please remember to like and subscribe. And if you like what the people at ScreenCrush got going on, the link will be in the description below. So without any further ado, we got a breakdown for She-Hulk episode 3. Let's get it. Oh my god, yo, I'm not even gonna lie.
References and little things that you might have missed in Shehulkattorneyatlaw episode 3.
We're gonna let it rock.
A lot to talk about.
Facts. The Wrecking Crew, I knew it.
And also Wong. Oh, and by the way, next Monday the video store is going to be closed.
Why?
Well, it's Labor Day, sir.
You don't get Labor Day off. You should just go away and decrease the circus population.
That's it. You have to find some way to appreciate me around here, or there is going to be a strike. But first, back to the Easter eggs. We open with the shot of the Department of Damage Control,
right,
prison that's holding Emil Blonsky's The Abomination. Now we know that's the name of this prison because in Ms. Marvel Season 1, Episode 4, we got a shot of the prison with the lower third giving us the name of the facility.
Definitely.
Damage Control, or DODC for short, was originally a branch of S.H.I.E.L.D., but later became its own department in the federal government. The DODC worked closely with Stark Technologies in an effort to collect all alien technology following the Battle of New York.
Yep.
The DODC has now become more of a federal law enforcement agency focusing primarily on superhumans.
I mean, they could probably have their...
Similarly to how Jennifer Walters' She-Hulk focuses solely on superhuman law. As Jen enters the DODC prison, she passes a wall that has A113 written on it. Now, this is a classic Easter egg you'll find in many films, especially Pixar movies.
Okay.
California Institute of the Arts alumni such as Tim Burton, John Lasseter, Michael Peraza, and Brad Bird have included A113 in many of their projects because A113 is a reference to the classroom numbered A113 that was used for graphic design and animation. We now see Jim Emil over leaked footage showing that he escaped prison as the Abomination and then fought in an underground cage fight. Now this is of course the same cage fight that we saw take place in Shang-Chi.
Hold that. Hold that.
Blonsky tells Jen that breaking out of prison was never his idea. And his name is
Wong.
And then Jen's paralegal, Nikki Ramos, tracks Wong down on the internet. She finds out that he's currently the Sorcerer Supreme in New York for 11 years. And then,
oh my god, yo. This is hilarious, bro.
Then, in a fourth wall break, Jennifer says,
"This guy busted him out of his prison cell and probably ruined my entire case."
Mm-hmm. This is hilarious.
What I thought was interesting about this fourth wall break is that Jennifer goes from not being familiar with Wong when talking to Nikki to then being very aware of who Wong is when talking to us just a few seconds later. Then she reassures us that this isn't just a cameo show. I mean, you must have seen our cameo video.
Yep.
Now, I think that Jen's cameo commentary may actually be implying that we are going to be seeing quite a few more cameos throughout the series.
That's what I said.
Daredevil is on the way.
Yep.
On this video, we'll be talking about what we believe may be a reference to the Kingpin.
What?
This kind of fourth wall breaking is a little different from what we've seen in the show so far. So far, Jen has mostly talked about her own life.
I'll spend the rest of the year worrying about what I just said.
But now she's talking about the show she's in, kind of more like Deadpool does.
Huh. That's just lazy writing.
This is way more than these comic book, when she appealed to the creators to write better stories and used comic gutters as shortcuts to teleport around the Marvel Universe. During the Los Angeles Now News, the bottom of the chyron shows a headline that reads, "Superpowered influencer Titania speaks out about her latest legal trouble, confident her legal team will make it go away." Titania is, of course, the superpowered individual that She-Hulk faced off against.
She's just having a storyline on the bottom of the ticker the whole time.
Is from the production of the second ever MCU film, 2008's Incredible Hulk. So, in a quick transition between different online news segments, we see suggestions for other She-Hulk videos. She-Hulk not real, theory. She-Hulk hoax, the truth about so-called She-Hulk.
Right.
We then cut to a search engine where we can see a search for your mom. Then we cut to a
hilarious
post brilliantly mimicking the real-world mouth breathers who despise She-Hulk for daring to be a woman. So we got to have affirmative action with superheroes.
Man.
More female superheroes, please. Why are you turning every superhero into a girl? No one asked for that. Why everything got to be female now?
That's so meta, I swear.
She-Hulk. And that's actually a nice meta use of the word cancel because it's used to both in her public career and also to cancel her TV show.
Exactly.
So movement, now all the male heroes are gone. I mean, all of this is incredibly silly, considering that out of the 37 MCU projects to date, only 5 of those projects have had a female lead. 6 if you count the Eternals. We then hear someone on social media say that he'd smash She-Hulk. I don't know about y'all, but I'd smash. Now this
hilarious.
is the iconic Hulk catchphrase. And also the subjectification of
I just got chills.
this series is commenting on.
I forgot what that Hulk sounded like.
Then cut to an interview with Gideon Wilson, who
Good
is
shit.
revealed to be the prosecutor who put Emil Blonsky in prison. Now, Gideon Wilson is a character from the comics who first appeared in World War Hulk Gamma Corps #1 in 2007. In the comics, he's also the brother of Sam Wilson's the Falcon. And I want to quickly mention an Easter egg from last week. That's the firm's name.
He's not, though.
KH. It's a reference to Marvel's original owner, Martin Goodman, Stan Lee original name Stanley
Lieber,
and Jack Kurtzenberg, the birth name of Jack Kirby. Later, we see the Dennis Bukowski, Jen's chauvinistic former colleague from
yeah, he's terrible.
There's a hot chick over there. I'm gonna go talk to her.
Terrible.
He's been defrauded by a shape-shifting white elf from New Asgard who
I'm trying to find a name to give to Buddy that won't get me demonetized, even though I'm not monetized right now. But like that would like keep me in the good graces of YouTube. You feel what I'm saying? Because everything I've came up with is got an expletive. But he's a terrible guy right now. So if you ever hear me reference a terrible guy I'm talking about, Buddy, comments please. And this was hilarious to me. Hilarious.
Megan was studying several times for XXL freshman, and she's great, total badass.
That's good to know. You can tell. You can tell she's really good.
She is, truly. So then, Mallory Book enters the ring. She's a character from the comics who first appeared.
Hilarious, bro, I swear.
She's a former beauty queen who is nicknamed the face who never lost a case. Now, eventually, she blames Jen for an accident to put her in a wheelchair. So Mallory begins to represent supervillains just to irritate Jennifer. I'm really hoping we get to see that rivalry play out in this series. Also, notice that the pattern on her dress is a lot of straight black and white lines, much like the photos hanging around the office. It's a subtle way to indicate that Mallory kind of sees this as her turf, that she is more a part of this firm. And then enters Wong.
Well, this. Received your message.
Now, Wong's excuse for cage fighting seems very, very flimsy to me.
Quite a worthy opponent. It's part of my training to become sorcerer supreme.
Because we think that Wong is not telling the truth. Doctor Strange and Spider-Man No Way Home, Wong became the Sorcerer Supreme when he blipped for 5 years.
You got it on a technicality because I blipped for 5 years.
If that's the case, then Wong would have already become the Sorcerer Supreme prior to the events of Shang-Chi, which took place well after everyone blipped back.
I'm not blip back.
But when Jennifer asked for
See, I don't know about the timeline.
Curious line.
Raising everyone's memories.
Now,
Also, I like the fact how they be like lampshading these decisions in these other movies too. Like, yo, I know you see me do this in this one movie, but I'm not gonna do it again. Like, we already seen the consequences of those actions and those decisions, so we not gonna go there. I like that. That more interconnectivity other than just dimension.
what's interesting is that Doctor Strange himself would be amongst the people that don't have any recollection of that spell or of Peter Parker. Yet, here is Wong remembering that the spell took place. This could be because he is the Sorcerer Supreme and thus is impervious to all memory spells. We also hear him say that the spell is
See, I don't even know.
Now, could this mean that the spell is breaking and that perhaps those closest to Peter Parker will remember who he is?
Stay tuned.
That's right, and we have a video coming out later.
Nah,
which
stay
dives
tuned.
deeper into this scene. Jin calls the memory wiping spell highly unethical, so Wong suggests two alternatives.
Tuh.
The mirror dimension is a dimension that we've seen used many times by Doctor Strange in his own films, as well as in Avengers Infinity War and Spider-Man No Way Home. The mirror dimension is a parallel dimension to that of our own. The Ancient One said in the first Doctor Strange film that the mirror dimension is used for training, surveillance, and sometimes containment of threats. Now, when Wong says the shadow dimension, he's likely referring to the dark dimension that we've seen before in the first Doctor Strange film when it was being ruled by Dormammu.
Dormammu, I come to bargain.
Another possibility is that he is referring to the Shadow Realm that we saw in Thor: Love and Thunder, a planet of infinite darkness. But I think it's way more likely that he means the Dark Dimension.
For sure.
That's a Pug who has been assigned to Dennis Stokowski's
That's his name, Pug, for sure. Pug.
Stallion, you can see a recommended video titled Iron Man 3's Honest Review. Now, this is a reference to the Iron Man 3 shoe that we saw in a laptop ad in the last episode. When Jen approaches the DODC prison for Blonsky's hearing, a reporter asks,
"Is it true you were rejected by the Avengers?"
which another reporter hears and then repeats.
Jennifer Walters, also known as She-Hulk, rumored to have been rejected by the Avengers.
This is social commentary, false rumor-based reporting in today's clickbait century.
I definitely said that.
Politics, entertainment, or just celebrity drama.
Or something similar.
We see that the case is numbered 43274838. Now, I couldn't find any significance to this number other than the fact that when you type 432748 into a color hex grid, it does generate the color purple. Purple, of course, being Hulk and She-Hulk's signature color of choice.
What?
What's that green skin pop?
Oh, shut up, you're colorblind. Stop acting like you know things. On this document, you'll see as a librarian. Amy Chance is the production supervisor for the She-Hulk series as well as the series Loki. We then learn that Blonsky leads daily meditation and yoga sessions for other prisoners.
I still don't like her neck.
Jen to practice meditation and yoga in the first episode of She-Hulk, and how Bruce learns to control the other guy with meditation in the Incredible Hulk. When Wong finally arrives, he asks,
Have you ever heard of Kumite?
and that is a form of freestyle fighting in the martial arts. Back at the Megan Thee Stallion trial, we learned that Runa the Light Elf is the daughter of an elf diplomat in New Asgard. Now, this likely means that she was originally from the realm Alfheim. That's the realm of the Light Elves, just like the Dark Elves were from the realm of
Svartalheim.
Her lawyer argues that she has diplomatic immunity, to which the judge says,
She may have diplomatic immunity in New Asgard, but we are not
In New Asgard.
which, okay, you know, Doctor Doom is always getting away from the Fantastic Four because of diplomatic immunity. So, like, I'm not, somebody's wrong. Someone here is wrong. I don't know who it is, if it's the comics or the show, somebody's very wrong. And then Runa stands up and begins to give the iconic "Asgard's not a place, it's a people" speech that we heard.
Asgard's not a place, it's a people.
And I love the judge's response.
Thor's inspirational speeches are not admissible.
Now, this could be a gag, or maybe this isn't the first time a shady Asgardian tried to wiggle out of legal trouble by using the Ragnarok speech. Now, notice
Big
the
facts.
way she transforms. This rippling energy is like Loki's transformations. And Loki learned from his mother, who was Frigga raised by light elf witches.
Makes sense to me.
Thank you. Well, I think we might see Runa appear again in this series, but working for the
More than likely.
JLKH employed a shapeshifter named Ditto to administer subpoenas while disguised as various celebrities. Back at Blonsky's trial, Wong convinces the board that Blonsky wanted to serve out his term, leading to this question.
And when Blonsky uncontrollably becomes Abomination, isn't he a raging monster out there?
See, this is the
Now,
part
let's
that,
go
like,
back to the beginning
kind
of
of
the episode
crazy.
when Blonsky clarifies to Jen that he no longer chooses to turn into the Abomination, meaning that he has full control of the Beast, just like Bruce and Jen have full control of their Hulks. Blonsky then shows his control of the monster.
As you can see, I'm in full control.
This scene shows us that not only is Blonsky in full control of the Abomination, but that when he is in his Abomination form, the consciousness of Emil Blonsky remains fully intact.
Facts, and he sounds just like him too.
So we could have Hulk's body and Bruce Banner's mind. So I find it interesting that Emil Blonsky was able to obtain this result likely through years of meditation in his prison cell. It is very possible that he had help in this regard. Maybe Thunderbolt Ross still wanted
And plus, like, he didn't have anything else to do but to try and do that. Bruce was actually out there doing stuff like living a semblance of a life. Blonsky was just sitting there. You feel what I'm saying? So, like, he had nothing but time to try to, like, manage that or try to like get it under control. Right.
Blonsky for his own team, the Thunderbolts. So he had him trained in these controlling techniques. Or maybe there's a new villain who knows more about fusing gamma radiation with the mind. The leader, or Samuel Stearns, is one of Hulk's arch enemies from the comics, and he's a smart.
But where would he have been?
The Incredible Hulk.
And they bringing a lot of people back now from the Hulk, so it's about time.
Breaking a meal out of prison.
You realize that you've just admitted to facilitating a criminal escape, which is a crime. I must define it.
Slid on them. Yo, I love it.
And you know what? This is just reckless behavior for a Sorcerer Supreme, and it makes me think that maybe Mordo was right. And we have a video
Shut
about
up.
that very idea. So subscribe and make sure that you don't miss it.
Even though I want him to bring back Mordo.
I thought that Blonsky said that he wanted to live with his 7 cellmates, which I thought meant the Thunderbolts. But
I was wrong.
he said soulmates, making me think that he actually just wants to start.
I was wrong too, and I'm ready and willing to admit that once I seen the lady show up in one of the promos, I was just like, oh, so he wasn't like alluding to something different. He actually meant that.
Cult with all these women.
He's going into farm. No, actually, he plans to open a meditation retreat on the farm.
And also, oh my god, what is that on his uniform? Look at that, it's a hexagon! As Jen is in the trial, we hear a reporter ask,
Is there any truth to the rumors you got your powers from a mafia hit gone wrong?
this is of course a reference to the very first She-Hulk comic from 1980.
Said that in my reaction.
By a henchman working for a crime boss named Nick Trask. This results in her cousin, Bruce Banner, having to give her an emergency blood transfusion, which of course is what gives her Hulk powers.
Big
and
facts.
then we see Jen, Nikki, and Pug together at a bar.
Connecting the A&D story.
Hilarious. That's what I was talking about.
Maybe you know the actor Josh Segarra from Era, where he played Adrian Chase.
Finally, somebody acknowledged it.
Look, hey, I'm begging you. Will you please, just
He played Vigilante.
This is when Pug
Right.
has the idea to bring Jen on as a witness to help prove that Dennis Bukowski is delusional enough to think that he was dating the actual Megan Thee Stallion.
Dennis Bukowski is an almost pathologically entitled man. He would absolutely believe that he's dating the real Megan Thee Stallion because he is truly that delusional.
And then we get our actual cameo from the actual Megan Thee Stallion.
That's right. There's only one Megan Thee Stallion.
Hilarious.
Victimize anyone else. Jen then breaks the fourth wall again and says,
Does Bukowski just give me an idea?
That'll stay between us.
Now, while this may seem like a simple throwaway line setting up Blonsky's inhibitor, preventing him from turning into the Abomination, I feel like this might be hinting at something bigger. The DODC is becoming more and more antagonistic in the MCU. I'm beginning to feel like we're on the verge of all enhanced individuals throughout the MCU being treated the way mutants were treated in the comics. Animated series treated as second-class citizens who are viewed as a danger to society.
Okay.
I can see future MCU projects introducing a mass movement within the MCU that supports putting inhibitor chips in all enhanced features,
Okay.
as well as forcing them to register as an enhanced person. So with the X-Men on their way to the MCU, they would be the perfect set of characters to be part of this battle between enhanced and non-enhanced individuals. Maybe we're going to see the MCU qualify mutants as any superhuman individual. And perhaps the term mutants will be a derogatory phase cast upon superhumans by the people seeking to oppress them. A scare word thought up in some think tank to turn the general public against superheroes.
The fuzzball's a mutant.
And this inhibitor technology was
Called him a fuzzball. That's hilarious.
because it's what he wears in the first episode to remain in human form.
So that would be crazy.
Anyway, Blonsky is then granted release from prison on the condition that he wear an inhibitor, preventing him from ever turning into the Abomination again. But I
Yo,
still
this
think
fly
we're
is
gonna see
killing me,
characters
Slime.
coming up soon. Thunderbolts. You're darn right. So Jen gives a profile interview, and as they segue into a commercial, we hear the news anchor say,
When we come back, She-Hulk shares her diet and exercise.
now this is a reference to how many female actors, such as Scarlett Johansson in her role as Black Widow, are often asked very personal, inappropriate questions about their diet, exercise, and wardrobe.
Are you able to wear undergarments?
You're like the 5th person that's asked
Well, no,
this.
because it,
What is going on?
And when Jen is walking home, she is jumped by the Wrecking Crew.
Right, the Wrecking Crew. Shout out to them.
I like how Jen, just for a second, forgot that she could Hulk out.
Yup.
Oh, wait.
Now, the Wrecking Crew, great villains from the comics, consist of Bulldozer, Wrecker, Piledriver, and Thunderball. She-Hulk asks if they...
Thunderball, that's his name. Thunderball, that's what I knew.
So, in the comics, when the Wrecker disguised himself as Loki, the Norn Queen, Carnilla, imbued him with Asgardian powers. Wrecker then shares these powers with the rest of his crew. As Jen is wiping the...
Yeah, that was kind of nuts. A lot of them guys would have been dead, but they lucky they got them charmed objects with them, I guess.
Gonna be mad.
So this has us wondering who this mysterious boss could be and why do they want She-Hulk's blood. We have a video coming out later this week theorizing that it could in fact be the leader, a supervillain teased in the 2008 Incredible Hulk that is never followed up on. But another option is the big man himself, Wilson Fisk Kingpin. We've seen the Wrecking Crew work for Wilson Fisk before in the comics, and with Daredevil's involvement in the She-Hulk series, as well as our theory that Kingpin might be the big bad for a culmination event with all the MCU Disney Plus series, we think that he may be the one trying to get his hands on Jennifer's blood.
But why?
Well, that's a good question. So we've speculated before that Kingpin's newfound super strength that we saw in Hawkeye might be from him getting his hands on some super soldier serum. So I doubt he's looking to turn himself into a Hulk, but I wouldn't be surprised if he's looking to build an army of Hulks that he can take control of and use to take on any superhero that stands in his way. And to close out the episode, after the credits, we get a scene with She-Hulk and Megan Thee Stallion. She-Hulk is signing Megan on as a new client, and Megan is likely suing Runa, the Light Elf, for impersonating her. And then we get this scene. I'm sure the internet's gonna have fun with that. Well, that's all the Easter eggs that we found, but if you found any, let us know in the comments.